Yep. All right. Hi, guys. It's me, Reagan Portis, and this is the Sunrise Podcast where we tell teens about the many different careers and businesses you didn't know could make money. Today, I'm here with Miss Reva Miller, the owner and director of her very own daycare, and I'm going to let her tell us a little bit about herself.
Hello, guys. I am Reva Miller, and I have owned my daycare for 20 years now. January makes 20 years, and I love it. I love it.
So, how did you get interested in daycare?
So when I was in college, I wanted to be either a vet or work with children because I always liked children. And so when I could not pass all those tests and I did like a assessment, it said this is where I needed to be. So I changed my major to childcare and family education, and I just went after it. And I wanted to do some like I worked at the Boys and Girls Club, and I really enjoyed that, so I kind of had an idea of what I wanted to do.
And that's pretty cool because I know a lot of people go to college and they end up switching their major. So that's
Yeah,
really good that it ended up working out for you. For
yeah.
teens listening, how would you describe what an after school daycare director actually does?
So I started out full daycare. Now I would not advise that just because it's so time consuming and you're working from 6:30 to 6 o'clock with after school. Our after school actually does not close until 8:30. So we work from about 1:30 to 8:30 every day. And so it's less time, more money, and you get more interaction with the kids and you're not so burnt out like with daycare.
And so you actually own it. So what inspired you to own it instead of just working for a daycare?
So I counted my money. So when I was working at Galloway Daycare, and I remember it was like my first real daycare job. And I knew how much the tuition was because my son, I was a teen parent, and my son also went to the center, and they were giving us the discounted rate at the time that was like $85. So the parents were paying roughly 150 to $175. So I'm looking at the amount of children in the daycare, and I'm like, okay, there's 120 kids at the daycare, and this is all we're getting. I was like, I can do this. And so I quit that job and worked for Head Start, which was a little bit more money. I was making like $16 an hour. And I remember they wrote me up for teaching, and I went home crying. And I was like, I cannot do this. I need to do my own center. And I started with the business plan, and I was fortunate enough to have my father who invested in my dreams, and I started at 24 with my own center.
24, that's pretty young to be a business owner, and a lot of people don't think that they can start their business that young. And
Yeah.
to me, I just feel like you just have to have the support and the background to be able to chase your dreams. So it's really wonderful that you had that. And
Yes.
but it's also like a leadership aspect. How did you end up getting that leadership and being able to be comfortable in that role at such a young age?
Well, I just remember I took the kids to Sky Zone last week, and I saw my good friend Bruce Berry and his mother. I was just telling him how good his mother stayed on me. She was hard on me. She meant well. It was tough, and I remember like saying if I did not go through that with Miss Berry, then I probably would not be a strong leader like I am today. And also just being in daycare when you're young, people were bringing me their babies, looking at me like, "Girl, you can't help me with my baby." And so I hired somebody older. I hired Miss Lois, who is also my director, and she's been working with me off and on for 20 years. She's still here. And so I had to get older people to help me. So even though I was the boss or in charge, I still needed help. And so I think some people kind of get the titles mixed up. Like I still needed help to run my business. Even today, I still need help.
So I hear that you faced some ageism being so young starting out. What would you
Yeah.
say is probably like the worst time you've had, like or worst story you've had facing that ageism? Because I get it. People don't want young people to raise their kids. I mean, it's crazy, but you are the owner of your own daycare. So I mean, I think they need to put a little respect behind your name.
Yeah. Well, so I had one lady who was like, I can't basically have you watch my baby. Like she would just flat out said it. And I remember going home like in tears, like I got my own baby, and I'm raising him. I'm doing a good job. And I just had to think in her shoes because she was an older parent. Um, Instead of being critical and like have the attitude of what she's saying, realize that she really doesn't mean anything by it and she wants the best care. So I think when I did hire Lois and she saw an older teacher, and then she would be like, well, when you teaching? So she got comfortable enough with me to see how my business was running to see, okay, well, this is not that bad. You know what I'm saying? And then too, I used to tell her, there's advantages and disadvantages with older and younger people. I can get up, I can run with your kids, I can do all of this with the older teachers. They might not be as energetic as some, you know, younger teachers. So there is advantages and disadvantages.
I think that's absolutely right. What for anybody that wants to go into daycare, what would they need to major in college, or what degree would they have to get to be able to own their own daycare or run their own facility?
So you really could have any degree to be an owner, but to be an owner and director of your center, you need to have your early childhood degree. That's either a 2 year or a 4 year degree. I have a 4 year degree in early childhood. I also have a master's in counseling education. So any education major, whether it's school, teaching, anything education wise. So just as long as it's in education, you can open a center.
How hard would you say it was to be able to reach that degree?
Uh, College was I wasn't just super smart ever in school, so my sister helped me out a lot. But I did enjoy college. It just depends on the person. Some people love school, so it could be easy for somebody loving school. For me, I do love dealing with children, just the interaction part. The business part, it's sometimes I still need help on, or I procrastinate a little bit. So
Right.
you don't want to do that. So you got to hire an accountant. You have to be on top of your stuff, have good staff that can help you. So that's some of the things that I do to make sure that everything is running correctly.
And like you said, it's more than just the degree.
Yeah.
It's having that business sense and that business mind, and most of the time just common sense that a lot of people don't have. And so since you ran your business for so long, what skills would you say outside of just the degree would help you run your business?
Common sense, like you said, it's so big. People take common sense for granted. It's just like little things. You may have a parent that come in and say, just being a tizzy. Oh, am I trying to do? And you really just have to calm down and be like, it's okay. We're gonna make sure we take care of it instead of getting offended. I used to get offended a lot being young, and I had to stop because I know that at the end of the day, these parents want what's best for their children, and I want what's best for their children too. So, like, if we have a disagreement, I'm gonna try my best to correct it. And I love these children like they're my children. I always have somebody's kids, and I enjoy it. So, but you do have to have common sense. You do have to, sometimes kick parents out. I tell people, our money is not good money. If you have some child that is destructive, cussing, doing something they're not supposed to be doing all the time, get that child out of your center. You know what I'm saying? And so those things, they used to be hard. They're not hard. And I really have a good group of kids. I think I can help any child reach their full potential.
Right. And that's half the battle there. Switching gears a little bit, what does a typical day look like for you as the owner and the director?
So I am still very hands-on. I know a lot of directors are not. They don't come to their center. I love being at my center. I still pick up kids every day. I start at 1:30 and I don't get finished till 4 o'clock. Then we have three other teachers here doing homework. Then we have play snack time, playtime. We do spelling words, like every child has spelling words on Friday, so we get all the spelling words done. We try to have all homework done by Tuesday or Wednesday. So if we need to go over something for a test, that Thursday we can get it done. And then by the time you think you're tired, it's time to go. And so I love it because it's it's like our safe spot for these children. It's like they're home away from home. We pride ourselves in just being the second home for our kids.
That's wonderful. A thought had come into my head because I think it's when you're 13, you're legally allowed to babysit people's kids
Yes,
for money.
yes.
And how old do you have to be to actually have a daycare and be considered a daycare? And how can a young teen, not even just a girl, maybe a boy, make money outside of the traditional babysitting, watching kids?
Okay, so that is a very good question. So that is correct. You can be 13 to babysit, have an actual babysitting license where you either go to somebody's house or they come to your house, or you can like have a facility, like say I have a daycare, and after hours, if they want to, two or three kids want to come to the facility and I babysit, that is fine. Um, and so if they are going that direction, I would definitely like just try to mentor them into going that route, like whatever that looks like. You have different programs. The CDC has a childcare program. You can also volunteer. I used to take a lot of volunteers and mentor them. I also have a business called I Love Daycare where I will open your center for you. And yeah, it's just it's a lot of things. You can talk to me. I'm very open and honest. I try not to give, uh waste all your time, because I can talk about daycare forever. But if you're interested, I will tell you what to do or send you a website. And if you're interested in wanting to go forward, then I can just help you open your center for a fee, of course.
How many kids do you have to be able to open up your own daycare?
So in home, I think it's five now, five. And in the center, it depends on your square footage and your playground.
And going back to the teens babysitting for money and stuff, what financial tips would you give somebody going down this route of how to save up their money to be able to own up their own daycare or own their own building to be able to release to daycares, anything in that field?
Oh, that's a good question because now it's so much harder for the younger generation just because everything is super expensive. But I still believe that you can do it. If you're babysitting already and say you're babysitting every weekend and you can make up to $500 a month babysitting. If you save just half of your check, 250, say from 18 to 21, you're still going to college, you can have a good lump sum of money because you really need about, I'll say realistically $10,000 to open up
Mhm.
a daycare. And I try to tell people do after school first so you're not so stressed out. But some people love babies, and if that's what you love, by all means do it. But you will have a higher overhead. You have to look at your taxes. You know, when I first got into daycare, I'm looking at my checks. I'm thinking, oh man, I'm rich. And I did not know I had to pay taxes, and you have to match taxes. And, so it's a lot of business stuff that they do not teach you, that you really need to know so you do not get in financial debt, just in debt, period.
Right. How does understanding this, because you can say this all day, but I really want people to understand why it's important, like why it's important to have these skills.
I mean, if you don't, you won't have anything. They will garnish your check. You will not be able to buy anything. And I mean, ours is just on a larger scale. Everybody will pay taxes. I don't care if you work at McDonald's. So ours is on a larger scale. And so, like, if my taxes are $2,000 a month, I pay them. I just pay them. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pay them first. You know what I'm saying? And then everything else can come after. So I have been in semi-tax problems, got out of it, just because I didn't know. And so, now that I know, you know better, you do better.
Right. And what financial practices do you wish that you were taught at a young age that you think would have helped you in your future?
Simply managing and budgeting. And you know what? I'm not gonna even say that because some stuff I know, it's just some stuff you have to be very disciplined. And sometimes I'm just not. If I want to go buy a pair of boots with some purses on them, I'm gonna buy it. If I want to go out to eat or enjoy my life, I'm gonna do it. But it has to come with moderation. And so a lot of the things that I've obtained from having my business took a lot of discipline. Paying this building off in 3 years, paying land off in 2 years, buying more properties. It takes discipline. It's a lot of stuff that I cannot do. But I try to still enjoy my life.
How did you teach yourself that discipline? Because even me, like I have
Yeah.
a hard time being able to keep my money and saving it because once you get that check and it's so little, especially being at this
Yeah.
age and like I just want to buy food, I just want to buy
Yeah.
clothes. So how would you teach yourself that discipline?
You have to think about the big picture. I got into real estate really, really young, and I did the math. Like, and I was doing it with my husband yesterday. I said, look, if you have a $250,000 building and you pay $2,500 for 30 years, that's $900,000. I cannot, I cannot do that. So I look for owner finance buildings that I can finance for a short period of time. And, like I just bought another building, and, I paid maybe $3,800 a month, and I'll be done paying for it in 4 more years now. And so that's it. You know what I'm saying? And so I think with me just doing the math, and that's when that common sense comes in. Everybody doesn't have it. And everybody's not in a position to do that. You know what I'm saying? I'm blessed that I'm in a position to do that, and that my brain just works differently. I will not I can't go to the bank and let you just throw money. I can't throw money away. Like
Right.
900,000 is a lot, of money.
And I
So
heard you said this is probably gonna be the last question, but I heard you say that you own multiple businesses. Could you
mhm.
tell us about some of those other businesses? Because I think a lot of people, when they hear like entrepreneur, they think like one thing, but you can be an entrepreneur in many things.
Yeah, okay. Well, I have a kayaking business that I love. I really, really enjoy my kayaking business. I love daycare. It's also a branch off doing trainings, assisting people with things that they need. As far as daycare, children are done, and we got some more business ventures coming up. and we just love, I love to be in business for myself. I love helping out. I love mentorship and community. And I think that once you get the community involved, it makes your space, your world a better place. So I strive to just do better by people.
Well, that sounds amazing. And that was my last question. Before I close out, do you have anything else you would like to tell us?
No, I think you did an excellent job. This was wonderful, and we need more of these.
And where is where is your daycare located for anybody that might be
Yes.
interested?
So we are 332 New Market Drive, right off of Highway 18. We are the silver building in the back, and we would love to have you.
Well, it was wonderful talking to you, and it was wonderful to have you on the podcast. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day. And I think that's it.
All right. Thank you so much.
Have a wonderful day.
You too. Thanks.
Bye.